Camera Dude 2088, and we're back for another video on TOT. This time we're doing TOT 80. Alright. I'm sure I mentioned it in the TOT 70. I was having like some technical difficulties. My mic wasn't connecting. I guess the software was having an issue. So I had to record. Well, what I'm doing right now is recording over, but I'm still gonna cut some of the video footage from the actual video because I was trying to explain everything that I was talking about and go through it all, and I had to go back. I had to record over. It sucked pretty much. It pretty much just sucked because I had to go through and re-record stuff and all that stuff. But I mean, let's just get into it. So we're gonna talk about what we're dealing with in TOT 80, the dreadful TOT 80 everyone is talking about. And surprisingly, it was a lot easier than TOT 70. 70 I kind of struggled with for a minute before I was able to get through. And 80 was like easy cleave. Now let me tell you, when you're coming into TOT 80, the most important thing you need is your cleanser to be on immunity. That's it. Cleanser to be on immunity. And above about, I think at the minimum of 130 speed. To be exact, so you can outspeed everything other than the boss, because the boss is going to outspeed you unless you got some insane glyphs. And I believe they say the boss is like 180 speed, 190 speed, some shit like that. So more likely your team is going to be completely debuffed with this third skill that the boss has, which is attacks all enemies and removes one of their positive effects if attack is critical, which is probably going to be critical. 75% chance of executing them, disabling 15% of their HP for 2 turns. And that is going to be devastating when that happens. So if your cleanser's on immunity, they can cleanse everybody. After that, you can get your turns and start doing your shenanigans, because the boss is actually pretty squishy. Once you get the rolling, then you're pretty much good. And you're going to see in this video how I did it with 4 units. And kid you not, when I first went through it, I was kind of shocked. And then I was like, all right, I got to go back and record and make my video when the audio issues was happening. And when I went back, it was faster. So this video is probably going to be mostly long from my talking, but the actual part of my units fighting is going to be like really quick for what happens. So, you know, you bring your standard poison DPS, your parasite, whatever you use, you bring that stuff in and you get the poop. So let's talk about the other skills that you're going to be facing. And I believe that was the wrong skill I read. Yeah, that was the wrong skill I read. So the third skill, because that was the second skill, the third skill says mutes all enemies for 1 turn and implants a parasite that devours 10% of their HP, increasing by 8% with each passing turn, preventing them from receiving healing effects and reviving for 3 turns. So yeah, that is crazy, because you're going to need those heals. And well, you're more likely not using a reviver. I mean, most of us aren't using revivers. At least that's what I believe, right? That mute shutting down your skills. This is why you're going to need the immunity for the most part, is because of the mute. And once you cleanse everybody of all those debuffs, especially you guys that's using WHS or any of the full cleansers, that's going to be really beneficial to you. I'm sure the air pony could work. I'm not sure what debuffs the air pony would cleanse. Hopefully the mute is one of them. I haven't tested with the air pony, so I don't know. But if you are using it, that's what you're going to need. Because I had to strip my fire druid in order to even do it. And I probably just show some of the video footage or whatever of me trying to do that. And then I believe it has this first skill as Dark Nova, where it steals 25% of your turn bar. So just like every other video, we got to bring the CC. Gotta bring the CC. That stuff is important. So let's talk about what the ads are doing. And I believe you got 2 WHS and 2 fire Cyclops. So for WHS, I mean, you should be familiar with what she does. She cleanses as well, so your debuff is going to be a problem. So you got to make sure she doesn't get any turns. She's She's CC'd as much as possible, so you don't have to worry about any of what she's doing, because that can hurt you trying to poison, put curse, and trying to drop parasites on the boss and like cleave that thing. I guess slow cleave, or whatever you want to call it. It's not cleaving, I know, but you know what I'm talking about here. At least I hope you do. But anyway, Fire Cyclops. Third skill is increasing the duration of enemies' negative effects by 1. If the HP is below 0.02%, protects all allies from a non-sticking source of damage for 1 turn. So we definitely don't want this at all, because once those negative effects come out from the boss and he does this, you're gonna be in real big trouble. So you definitely gotta have that cleanse. This is like, this battle you must have a cleanse for, or you're just not going to make it. It's just going to be too much happening. Then the second skill, I don't think it's really that big of a deal, but it's attacks an enemy with a huge attack increasing based on Al's defense, removes up to 4 of their positive effects and lower their turn bar at the cost of 20% on max HP. Okay, I lied. This is pretty critical. So, you know, they always add in some stuff that you just don't want to happen to you. I don't think you want any units to do anything. I mean, the object here in TOT is to not let anything move. You don't get a turn, pretty much, is what's going on here. And once you have them CC locked up, I mean, you know, you got your Herman, you got your George going on. You know, for you guys that don't know who Herman and George is the water Bassie, George is the air Bassie. And whatever other units that you plan on using, including your cleanser, and, you know, do your thing. That's going to help you get through it. Well, keep them CC'd as much as possible, and you can go straight boss or try to work down the Holy Sisters, but I think this is one that you can definitely go straight boss on, because I mean the boss is relatively squishy. I was shocked at the amount of DPS I was able to put out on it and just watch it die so fast. Maybe it's because of the setup that I was using, because I was using a combination of Curse, Poison, and Parasite, and you know, Water Tree is just like OP. Like, I mean, his heals is complete shit, but his damage, bruh, the Water Tree's damage, man. I think I saw my tree hit for like 100k one time, but that's not what. That's besides the point. I think it was actually in this fight he hit for about that much. So the big thing here is to just make it past that first turn. If you can make it past that first turn, then you should be able to pretty much win this fight without too much of a problem. You know, getting your speed above that 130 mark or whatever, and you should be fine. And at the end of this video, I'm going to showcase my units that I use and their stats and everything and all that good stuff. Alright, so I wasted enough of your time babbling, so let's get ready and see the fight.
Get to 2088.
This is my unit stats. I'm going to start off with my Fire Faceless, which is one of my better glyph units. Well, I wouldn't say better glyph, just the one I put the most work into. He got a decent amount of HP and def. One of my fastest units. I think my second fastest unit right now with 157 speed, and he's above that 80% threshold that I said in the previous videos that you should have for your accuracy, sitting at 94. and he's running on a speed, HP, and accuracy defense. The next unit was the water tree, which unfortunately is slower than my WHS. That's because I had to strip my fire druid just to make sure WHS was on immunity, because it's important that you have that immunity on her. And she's normally about 13 speed slower. She sits at about 109 resistance generally, and but I mean, you really don't need a lot of resistance when you run an immunity, right? Yeah. And then her HP is normally about 14,000. She's just over 1,000 defense. So this was actually a more rounded and probably better, especially even for like a PvP type of build or something for her, if I were to use her in that aspect. But I'm gonna end up putting her normal glyphs back on and swapping them back around for my fire druid, so I can do my dungeons, you know, because I gotta run my strength. And she's on double speed. Normally this would be a defense glyph here, defense, HP defense, and she'd normally have a resistance glyph as well to get her over that nice threshold. Then we got the water tree, who sits on speed, HP def. He has the most HP out of all of my units. I would love to get him faster, but just don't currently have what I need to do that. And he's probably was the main one putting in the work as far as bursting those poisons on her and bursting those poisons on the boss and everything. And he got a decent amount of resistance, even though it didn't really do much to help, I guess, in that battle. But it's cool because it's all still kind of worked out. Then we have Sapphire. Can't forget her. Now she's one of my newer units. We like literally just evolved her today, so she has like basic leftover glyphs that I had lying around, but she's also over the 82%. The 80% threshold at 82% accuracy. Got the 25% extra from the Evo, so that helped, and at a decent speed in comparison to my other units, sitting at 149. And I would love to have a lot more HP and def, because this is like bare minimum dungeon running stats. But this is just what I have right now. And where is Sapphire on that little cutie? Speed, HP, accuracy, def. So typical standards type of build or whatever. I probably wouldn't even need a accuracy glyph if I put her on precision and get some decent subs. I probably would. And then the last one we had was George, the Lightning Basilisk, who didn't make it into the fight. Like, even the first time I cleared, he just didn't make it into the fight. But it's because the stage, the floor before it is attribute disadvantage, so he just gets one-shotted by whatever that may attack him. So and he's at 140 speed, which is decent, 93% crit, which is over the 80% crit threshold. Could have a little more accuracy at 41, but the most important thing is making sure the crit on this unit is high and just getting as much accuracy I can in subs where I can get them, because the crit is the most important, because the turn bar still in mechanic and getting your turn as well. I mean, does get a fair amount of resisted debuffs because of not having enough accuracy, but it still was plenty effective, and it works for me. HP and def is really low. I mean, pretty squishy, but if you're running the right kind of CC, none of that will matter anyway. You wouldn't have to worry about your units being CC. I mean, your units being touched when you're CCing the ads and everything anyway. But as you see, it was a fairly easy fight, even with 4 units. I mean, long as you got the cleanser on those, just decent, just on those immunity glyphs, and able to cleanse your team, and making sure you're at least, I think we outsped, so somewhere around 30, I think she's sitting at 131 speed, so around that 130 mark is probably a good benchmark to make sure she moves before the other units move, and anything else be devastating of that sort. So I'm probably repeating myself, but it's because of me not having my mic active, because I checked and my mic was on, but it just wasn't connecting to the software properly. So if I am repeating myself, well, I hope you understand, but that's just the basic stats for my units and everything that I was doing. So this is the Gamer Dude signing out. Hope this was pretty beneficial for you, and you can see that I don't have the best stats ever, something that can be easily attained and shot for with the worst luck, because my glyph luck is not all that great at the moment. But hey, RNG changes, so at some point I should have some decent luck happening there. And I'm out. Deuces. Alright, at least we got it right this time. Fucking shit.